Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me on YouTube, where I go live most weekdays. Or outside of my YouTube, you can consider joining the Discord I've created or the Facebook group that I've created. There's links for those down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. That is a great place for you guys to check out some of the different meals and recipes that I've been enjoying as I've been working towards my weight loss goals. Today is day 1011 of my challenge to lose 300 pounds. So far, through a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, I have been able to lose 270 pounds. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you are succeeding with your diet, let us know what you're doing to succeed. Share it with the rest of us. If you're struggling with your diet, let us know what's causing your struggles. Maybe there's something that we can help you with. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you are doing or that you can do that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? I'm going to go ahead, switch over to the main screen here. Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. It's Tuesday already. I was unable to go live yesterday, but I am here today a little later than normal, but I am here. I'm still alive, in case anybody was worried that I had gone missing or passed away. I'm still here. So I will go over some of the food I've had since the last stream here. Let me see if I can get this going. Let me pull this up. Trying to think. I don't know if I went live on Friday. Let's see. The first Wednesday. I'm pretty sure I was on Wednesday. I don't remember if I went live on Friday or not, but I'll show Friday's food here, I guess. So Friday we had our standard oatmeal for breakfast. Let's see. So Friday, oatmeal for breakfast, broccoli, and then Saturday, it jumps to Saturday here. So this weekend, we had our standard oatmeal for breakfast. I took a photo of some corn. Carrie went with the kids this past weekend. She went corn picking. They went and picked corn and blueberries. And so we had some wonderful sweet corn, like just freshly picked off of the stalk. All of it was amazing. Like, it was just absolutely delicious. Some of my kids did a little bit better job picking out fat ears of corn than others, but we had some we had some wonderful corn here. So that was on Saturday. Then Saturday evening, Carrie made up a big pot of Spanish rice with some mushrooms in it, and it was really wonderful for dinner on Saturday. Then Sunday, our standard oatmeal. And that's the only photos I took from Sunday were the oatmeal that I had. Then yesterday, oatmeal. Then last night, we had a new dish last night. Carrie will have to chime in if she sees this live stream and let me know what it was called. It was really good. It was brown rice, and then it was like a sweet potato something. I don't know. It was really good, but that's what we had for dinner yesterday. I think I might even have some leftovers here. I have not eaten lunch today. And I did not take a photo of my oatmeal from this morning, but I did have oatmeal this morning here. So that's just some of the food I've had since the last live stream here. Few people checking in. Pretty Girl's mom says, hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Jay says, hi, you are losing weight. Can tell in your face. Yeah. Yeah. I'm up a little bit from the last weigh-in, but I still feel as thin as ever. So thank you. Tennessee Girl says, hello, everyone. Pretty Girl's mom, are you growing the beard back? No. Not like on purpose, but it is growing back. I can't get it to stop growing. I tried to tell it to stop growing and it wouldn't. So, really, I'm going to get into it a little bit today, but, I've been exhausted, and every day I get up and I think, all right, tonight before I go to bed, I got to make sure that I shave. And then every night I just end up passing out, like not doing anything I was planning on doing. And so I wake up every morning and the beard's grown a little bit longer, but I do intend to shave it. I may even get the motivation to shave it today. I'm not sure, but it is going to come off again. It's just, I've been tired, and I'm still trying to catch up from 2 weeks ago. And it's been frustrating that I haven't been able to catch up, but I have a lot of stuff I have to get done. So I don't really get the option or the choice. Plants Only Muncher saying hello, Plants Only Muncher. Hope you had a great weekend. You're having a wonderful day today. Let me stop that. Maybe do it tomorrow before tomorrow's weigh-in. Yeah, I actually don't think I'm gonna do a weigh-in tomorrow. I just am not in the headspace to do it. And I've been pretty crappy on my diet for the last week, and I'm gonna go into that a little bit today here. Getting caught in the pleasure trap. I'm getting caught in the pleasure trap. I'm not worried about it though. As weird as it is, like I see it and I understand it, and I recognize it, and I think that might be helpful and harmful at the same time. You know, before I started this diet, I was ignorant to the pleasure trap and how the foods that are surrounding us are killing us, and it's because it's so convenient and it's so pleasure inducing, and so getting out of it, you know, it was this huge wake up call, and it's been like I said, I'm aware of it now. I understand, you know, and once you can see it and recognize it, you can make better choices. But it's just been this weird headspace that I've been in for the last 2 weeks. Jay says, oh, now I'm worried. I wouldn't worry about it. It's not something that I'm worried about right now. I'm frustrated by it, but I'm not worried. Pretty Girl's mom says, getting cocky. I think that might be part of my issue, is that I am getting a little cocky, and it all kind of, who knows? There's a million different reasons why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, or I'm doing what I'm doing, or I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. But I feel that what hurt me was during that 18 days where I was gone, I lost 10 pounds in that time. And for most of that time, I was compliant with my diet. And when I wasn't compliant with my diet, my calories were so low that being non-compliant didn't affect the weight loss. And so when I came back and I weighed in last week and I was 10 pounds lighter, I had been eating salty foods for the last week, or I had foods that had some salt in them, some oil, some sugar in them. And it, even with having those foods, I still had a 10-pound weight loss. And I think that might be where I was getting cocky, that like, oh, I can still eat those foods and lose weight. And in reality, I can eat those foods and lose weight, but only if I'm eating 1,000 calories a day. But now that I'm back home and my normal food is here again, I'm eating my normal food or my normal calories, but then I'm still sprinkling in these added extra calories. And those sprinkled in added extra calories are putting me in a surplus, and it's causing me to gain weight. I also have, there's the no sodium. When I don't have salt in my system, I'm 10 pounds lighter than when I do. Like the second I eat something with salt, it feels like, or as soon as, pretty quickly after I eat something with salt in it, I gain 10 pounds of fluid. And that kind of has happened. You know, I'm feeling my lightest still, but I must have a bunch of fluid in my body. You know, like Jay said, my face still looks thin, my body still feels thin, my clothes are still fitting, but when I get on the scale, the number is much higher than I'd like to see. And I know that when I get rid of the salt from my diet and keep it away out of my diet, that fluid or that extra 10 pounds is going to come off. And so I also have this kind of dilemma in my head too, is that, so I get rid of the salt, I get down to 210 pounds. Do I keep the salt out, or do I add, small amounts of salt? And the only reason why I guess I think of that stuff is the convenience of it. You know, it's extremely convenient for me to just grab a salty snack versus trying to find a SOS free snack. And so I know that I've given in to these pleasure trap foods out of convenience. That's the biggest reason why. And when I was not eating, it was kind of out of necessity because I did need calories. But then now that I'm back home, it's not necessary anymore, and I need to remove those things. And I think that me and Carrie kind of had this opposite kind of experience, and so we're reacting to it opposite, and that's kind of causing us to not be necessarily on the same page, which is where we've been trying to get for the last 3 years, and it's worked pretty well. But over the course of time that I was gone at the end of July, I lost 10 pounds. In that same time, Carrie wasn't able to lose any weight. I think she was frustrated by not losing weight with being out and traveling and doing everything that we did. And so we've come home, and she is strict on the diet. Like she's hitting the marks that I should be hitting. You know, she's looking at food the way I should be looking at my food, But I had the opposite experience. I went out, did all this stuff. I lost 10 pounds, and now uh, I've had the opposite response to her, where she tightened up her diet. I've loosened up my diet, and I need to tighten up my diet and get on the same page as her, because it helps both of us when we're on the same page. It's much easier to stay compliant when we're both eating the same food and not having to watch the other eat some other stuff. 10-year-old girl says, I'm not worried, you got this. Yeah, and I'm not worried either. Like, my biggest worry was coming on stream and talking about it, and being open about how it's, I'm in a phase, I'm in a period, or I'm in a moment that I'm going to work through and I'm going to figure out, but I have to work it out on my own, like, as much as, and it's, you guys absolutely help and keep me on track, but I'm the one that's putting the food on my plate, putting it in my mouth and eating it. And, I need to get better at it. Jay says, you think my body is craving salt. That's why you are so tired. Jay can't do no salt diet. I get lethargic and very depressed. It's funny is that I've had similar thought, but it's been the fat that I feel like my body has responded to the most, or that it's like, yeah, I feel like the salt adds fluid, but also the added fat that I'm getting from the oils of the food that I've eaten over the past 2 weeks also are filling up those fat cells. And I think that there might be, some of that, maybe my body's craving salt, or it's craving the fat. But as far as the exhaust, I spent 8 days outside in the Iowa heat, and I averaged, I'm not exaggerating here. I averaged 2 hours of sleep each night. There was one night I didn't sleep at all. Like, I was up for 36 hours straight at one point because of that week. And so, my tiredness has definitely been from that lack of sleep for those 8 days. And I'm getting caught up. I'm feeling better, but I feel awful because I feel like I leave Carrie hanging at night, because I go down. Our routine is such that we have 2 younger kids that I put to bed usually around 8 or 9 or 9 or 10, depending on how long they drag out the evening. But, I tuck them in, and I kind of hang out outside their room for a little bit until they fall asleep. And for the past, 8 days, 9 days, I've been passing out, waiting for them to fall asleep. And then I wake up like 2 hours later, stumble into bed and just fall asleep. And so that's why my face isn't shaved. It's why, and then I got to get up early. I got to get work in the morning. And I haven't had a day off in weeks at this point. And my days off are spent catching up at home, because I was gone for 8 days. There's 2 acres of yard that has to be cut. There's a pool that has to be maintained. There's kittens that have to be found in my garage. Yes, that was a surprise yesterday. So we had not been in our garage since mid-July. We normally park our car in the garage, and we had a topper on our car to haul stuff. And so yesterday was the first day I took the topper off. The topper had been on the car for a week unnecessarily, but I just been too tired and not around to do it. So I finally took the topper off last night. Carrie parks the car in the garage and says, I'm pretty sure we have cats in our garage. And so last night we went out and I found a box in the back corner of my garage that had 4 kittens in it. And so, yes, it's a detached garage. It's not attached. It's not attached to our house. So we didn't hear the kittens. Yeah, the garage door and the man doors are usually left open. One of our doors is, the glass window is broken, and so a cat could easily get in and out through the glass window. And I've known for months that there's been a cat that has been sleeping on my lawnmower, on the seat of my lawnmower, because I'll come out every now and then and I'll scare him and he'll run off. Or I guess it's a she, not a he. But the cat will run off. And so yesterday we finally got into our garage and we found a box of kittens that was in our garage. So that was an interesting afternoon for us. Added more to my day yesterday. Like, I was already doing stuff and now it's like, oh, we got 4 kittens to deal with. So that was a surprise for us last night. And Carrie says, yes, we got all that work to do and the yard work and the actual work. And then we got 4 kids that want our attention too. And yeah, yesterday I ended up going for a little walk with the dog while a couple of my kids did some bike riding around the neighborhood. And then actually some working out I did a little working out this past couple days. I'm not total bum. I think it was Sunday. Me and my son went up to the junior high that's just a couple miles from our house and did some running. He actually ran like 2.5 miles. He's a rock star. I kind of ran like a mile, maybe 1.5 miles. But that was a good workout. It had been some time since I had done some running. I would say that it had been 60, 80 pounds ago, right, that I had done any running. So it was interesting to get out and run. It was, what was really interesting was there was a guy at the track when we got there, and he was probably my weight. We were probably twinsies, probably weigh about the same. He might be a little bit lighter than me. But he was running the track and he ran the entire time me and my son were there, and we were there for 30, 35 minutes. Actually, we were there for a lot longer than that because we went and did some other stuff. But anyways, this guy, he kept a pace and ran that track for a good hour. And I can't run half a lap at a steady pace without getting winded and having to stop. And so it was nice to kind of see somebody doing that. And I know it can be done. I know the conditioning can happen, but it was also nice to be able to say to my son, like, hey, look at this guy here. He's, no super athlete by any means, but he's keeping a consistent pace. And as long as he kept that pace, he kept going and he kept going. He kept going. And I don't know what that pace is for me. I'm not a good enough runner yet. And Carrie here is saying our son wants to do cross country this year. He's going into 7th grade. And that's part of the reason why we went up and we're doing the running and doing some other things. But that you just got to find a pace. You got to find that cadence or that speed that you can just keep going at that speed. And I'm not great at that because every time I've ever ran, even if it's 10 yards, it takes the effort of doing a sprint for somebody who's 300 plus pounds. And so whether you're going 10 yards, 100 yards, or a mile at 300 pounds or 400 pounds, 500 pounds when I was at my heaviest, no matter what distance you're going, it spikes your heart rate to the max. It throws you in that, like you're doing a dead sprint kind of heart rate. But now that I'm 250 pounds, I know there's a pace, there's a cadence. I don't know why my son is calling me, but he's calling me probably to spend money. But I know there's a pace or cadence that I need to find to do those long distance runs. And but just running this past weekend, doing that mile of running I did really helped me to feel the difference, and that I am right there, like the 250, I get down to 220, and I think that moving my body will be even easier. And I noticed it was easier this weekend. The other thing we did before we went running, so this junior high that he's going to has this obstacle course, and it's like if you ever seen the show American Ninja Warrior, it's kind of like that, or it's you start off where they have the slanted platforms that you have to kind of jump from one slanted platform to the next. And then it goes, and there's some monkey bars, there's some netting that you have to climb up and over. There's one thing where you have to like jump off of a platform and grab the netting to climb down. There's some balance beams. There's an angled wall, like if you're standing in a hallway and you put your hands and your feet out like an X that you have to crawl across. And then there's these ledges that you have to kind of hold your fingers on to traverse across, and then a rope to climb. There's probably 15 different obstacles in this course, and I had a lot of fun kind of playing on it with my son and doing some of the obstacles that I never would have been able to do before. The first obstacle itself, it's that one that you kind of always see on American Ninja Warrior, where there's like a 45-degree platform, and they have to, let me see if I can, there's a 45-degree platform, and then there's another one, and they have to jump from platform to platform. I was actually able to do that, which I always worried I was going to just break my ankles or twist my ankles or fall over. So I never even tried it before, but I was able to kind of go from platform to platform. It wasn't graceful, it wasn't quick by any means, but I was able to do it. And that was pretty awesome to be able to do that. Some climbing the netting, going over it, just being able to do it and show my son how to do some of these things at 500 pounds. I wouldn't even been at the junior high with him, but at 500 pounds, I never would have been able to climb up over these obstacles or to give him the assistance that I did give him. So that itself was amazing. Just that Sunday experience of hanging out with my son, and doing those physical exercises and feeling a little bit of accomplishment and helping him kind of overcome some fears on the obstacles, or there's this one balance beam one where you had to go from one balance beam and then you have to like jump like 3 feet onto another balance beam. He was nervous about it, and he rocked it, and he did awesome on it. But I was able to kind of show him and articulate what I wanted much better because of my weight loss. And so that was a fun experience this weekend that I had, doing a little bit of working out, getting some calories burned, getting that heart rate up, and hanging out with my kid, so that was fun. Trying to think of what else I did this weekend. I cleaned my swimming pool. My filter was the dirtiest I've ever seen it. It was pretty nasty. And just staying on top of that is something that I know that Carrie appreciates, that I've been keeping the pool up and going, because the last couple years, well, the first year we had the pool, it was easy, keep going. The water was fresh. The kids were excited. They were in it all the time. Last year was a little bit more difficult. Had the pool up and running at the beginning of the year, but by the end of the year, it wasn't much fun, or they weren't using it a whole lot because it wasn't super clean. So this year, I've been really trying to make sure that the pool has been swimmable and usable, and so that's something that, with my weight loss, gives me the energy, the ability to take care of these things. When I think about going and dealing with the pool, I don't dread the fact of having to walk down the steps to the pool or walk back up, or all the things I'm going to have to do. And that's been a huge shift just in general. Like, I don't think I realize how much I was doing that cost benefit analysis on a day to day or event to event basis when I was 520 pounds. And you don't realize you're doing it, but at the same time, I know I was doing it, because I look at the situations now and realize, hey, I don't think I would have done this 200 pounds ago, because it would have been too much effort. And I'm still doing the cost benefit analysis. I think we all do the cost benefit analysis on every decision we make. And I see the change. I see the difference, that the bar has moved. The cost has been reduced. The cost of doing anything before was, well, I have to lift up 500 pounds. Now I have to lift up 250 pounds, and that is half as much. And so it's much better. And so, like, dealing with the swimming pool, or yesterday, my one daughter was frustrated because she wanted to go for a bike ride, but she didn't have her bike. And then by the time she got her bike, everybody else was done with the bike ride. And so then she was frustrated that there was nobody there to be with her while she was riding her bike. And so I said, well, I'll grab the dog, I'll go walking, and you can ride your bike. And it was an easy decision for me to make at 250 pounds. At 520 pounds, I don't think I make that decision. I think that I tell my daughter to deal with it, or I try to distract her and give her some candy or something, or do something different. But because I've lost the weight, I'm able to do the things that I should have been doing before, but I was putting off, or I was finding excuses not to do. And then when you're 500 pounds, people let you have those excuses too, and so it kind of feeds into itself a bit. But yeah, I'm trying to think. So running, playing on the bike, cleaning up the pool, trying to think if anything exciting has happened. Other than those things. But yeah, the thing I wanted to talk about, though, was the pleasure trap, and getting caught in the pleasure trap. The convenience. Our world is full of convenience, and it's frustratingly convenient. If only it could be a little more difficult to go get junk food, it would make things easier. But that has been the goal of the junk food manufacturer for decades, is to make it as easy as possible, because they know that if it's just as difficult to get your bag of chips as it is to get an apple, then more people will choose the apple. But if it's easier to get a bag of chips than it is to get an apple, then people will go to the bag of chips. So the chip manufacturers do their best to make it easier for you to eat a bag of chips than it is to eat an apple. And they make it more appealing and as well. So they put things in place to make it more appealing. When in fact it probably, it isn't healthier, it's not better for you, but we don't think about health when we're going to pick out our food a lot. We think about convenience. Hello, Gene. I hope you're having a great day. Just talking a little bit about, I was talking about my busy weekend, my busy life, and then how all of that busyness has got me caught up in this pleasure trap that I'm trying to get out of, and it's frustrating, and I'm gonna get out of it now that I'm at home and I have this abundance of food again. I'm gonna get out of it. It's just taken me longer than I hoped to get away from the processed food. Let me see. I don't think Carrie meant to hide that comment. Jay, I don't imagine she meant to do that on purpose, just so you know. Sometimes she takes the phone in and out of her pocket, and it goes tough. Gene says last week was a tough one. Yes, I'm still trying to recover from last week, but I'm recovering from the 2 weeks ago. I thought that last week would be all I needed. I thought that I'd come home, I'd get a good night's sleep Sunday, Monday night, and I'd be back and ready to go. And it's not the case. I have passed out every night by 8 or 9 o'clock for the past week, and I wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning, and I go back to work, and it's just the cycle over and over again. And I need to figure out how to do RAGBRAI and then take a week off. And I haven't figured it out yet, because for me, it kind of falls right into a busy season, not only with work, but also with some tax stuff for work. So I kind of go from being real busy with this operation stuff with RAGBRAI to having to jump right into my administrative role and get the bookkeeping. And so it's just constantly busy, and I got to keep the doors open. So I got to keep guys out doing moves, and it's been a busy month, since, what was it? July 13th, I think, was the last live stream I did. It's August 8th now. So it's been a crazy month. Gene says, I'm surprised we are dragging yet this week. Yeah, I am surprised I'm still dragging. And maybe it was just the sun was just so much more of a, maybe the sun took up more out of me than I thought. It was hot some of those days, and I tried to stay in the shade and out of the heat as much as possible. But yeah, but it's, I'm getting out of it, and I'm figuring it out. And the best way I'm finding to get out of it is to just eat an abundance of food that's compliant. Don't leave space in your stomach for the junk food, and it will make it easier to stay compliant. And that's what I'm working on. I'm eating, and then today I didn't eat lunch, but I'm trying to get my volume back up. Maybe that's the issue I had, was my volume was so low, so I could eat the kind of crappy foods, still lose weight. And now that my volume is back up, I need to cut those crappy foods out, and I need to just focus on eating the healthy foods. Gene here says the heat had a larger effect than we thought. I think it does. You sit in the shade and you think you're out of it, but you're still in the heat. Yeah, it was a wild week. It was busy, wild week. And so, and way not enough rest. Yeah, I did not get enough rest. I slept so it was probably midway through the week, and I quit driving. Like, I got to Wednesday, and I did some drive, but I avoided driving as much as possible. Like I would have to get up at 4 in the morning and I drive to the next town. But then once I got to that next town, I didn't drive again the rest of the day for the most part. Like I would hand the keys to one of my employees, or I had some family members that were working with us. And I'd say, hey, I need to go to the grocery store. I need to go to this store. I need to run and get ice. And I quit driving because I knew that it was probably not the best thing for me to be so sleep deprived and still driving. And so, um, yeah, I knew about midway through the week I was tired. I knew I was going to be as tired. I pushed myself kind of intentionally because of, I didn't get into this at all, I guess, but I look at that week as a bit of a survival week for me. There is very few things that we do that put us in a position where we can test our limits with some things. And when I started this challenge, I did a 40-day water fast and I tested my ability or my limit with water fasting and not eating. And many people after 3 days think it's very extreme to continue fasting. Some people would say after a week or after 10 days. Some people say after 20 days. Some people say after 40 days it's extreme. I think that we're amazing creatures. And as long as you have extra fat on your body and you got a water supply, I think you can fast for a very, very long time. But we don't have to test that. We don't live in nature. We don't live in an environment where the spring comes late and we have to go an extra couple weeks without food. Or we don't live in an environment where all the food that we stored for the winter got rotten and then we had to go half of a winter without any food. But I also think that we're very privileged that we do get to sleep the hours that we get to sleep. And I kind of use the week of Ragbri to test my exhaustion, to see how tired I could get and still function. And I pushed myself pretty hard and probably, in some areas, probably too hard, but I survived it. And that was the goal, like it's not the same as climbing Mount Everest, but it is kind of a similar experience in that I pushed myself to get to that peak or to get through to the push myself beyond what most people would be willing to do. Most people, after one night of only having 2 hours of sleep, would say, okay, I got to get sleep. I can't let anything get in the way. But not me. I was like, all right, I'm going to do 2 nights of 2 hours of sleep. And then I did that. And then the next night I was going to get a couple hours of sleep. And then I got no sleep because the neighbor's dog was barking and I had to deal with that. And then the following day I took like a 2-hour nap, 3-hour nap in the middle of the day, and then got 2 hours of sleep that night. And so, I spent 8 days getting less than 2 hours of sleep. And by, halfway through, I was almost, it was a mental test. It was to see what happens to my brain. And, I think that as weird as it is, that a lot of the same things that happened to my brain when I was on my 30 days of fasting, up to 40 days of fasting, those same things happened to my brain when I was on day 3 of exhaustion, day 4 of exhaustion. I felt like there was a focus on a singular thing, but then everything else was much hazier. And I feel like that same thing kind of happens when I water fasted, is that I would be able to focus on a thing, but then everything else was a little bit less in focus. And I managed the week. I had a lot of moving parts. I had a lot of great employees working for me. And so they were able to, they were able to help me out with a lot of things. Let's see. Gene says you found you cut back on water too much. I definitely probably did too. And I also, because I was allowing non-compliant things in, I was drinking sodas when I was having like next to no calories. And because I wasn't having any other calories, I was able to have the soda and lose weight. But you can't eat a full diet and have soda because it's going to put you in a surplus. Matt here says, hi everyone. The pleasure trap is so seductive and such a slippery slope. Yes. And that's what I'm worried about, that I'm slipping on that slope. At times you kind of thought you had it beat, but we really never have it beat. Yes. I think that is a good point, is that the pleasure trap will always be there. It's not going away. No matter how hard you try, unless you move up to Alaska and start your own farm, or maybe not even, I don't know if you can start a farm in Alaska, but unless you move into the wilderness and are making all of your own food and controlling everything you see and everything that comes into your environment, the pleasure trap's there. And it's just waiting for you to stumble into it, to fall into it. And it looks different. It's not the same. You know, the trap morphs itself. It turns itself into different things. But yes, it is something that I don't think we'll ever truly be able to beat it. Like you said, unless we can get in front of Congress and get laws changed, you're not going to beat the pleasure trap. And the money behind those people that are keeping the laws the way they are is so great that would never happen. Carrie says that John always drives when we're together, and I stopped in the middle of our drive somewhere so that she could drive. Yeah, I don't remember where we were, but I did. I was like, I can't keep driving, so you got to drive us. And then Gene says 2 of the 4 that were on the ride were sick with colds last week. Yeah, I think that's a big part of just being the temperature changes. You know, you go from being inside a lot, I imagine, to then a week outside and then go back to your old habits. Can mess with your immune system. And then we were also around a lot of people too. So just being around that many people. And Carrie here says the Matt, definitely we think we have the pleasure trap beat, but life proves us wrong. And then KJ says, Carrie, you are fine. Yes. Jay here says, Dr. Lisle says amount of weight loss depends on doing some exercise. Keep walking and jogging with the boy. He will motivate you. Yeah, I imagine that as I get closer to my goal weight, my activity will have to go up. And once I get to my goal weight and I want to reach that next goal weight, when I get down to 200 pounds or maybe even the 190s, 180s, that is probably going to require a little bit more exercise, a little bit more activity, much stronger focus. Well, I mean, I focus on the diet already, but it requires compliance for a period of time. And so Carrie says our son needs to work out 5 times a week to make rank for Boy Scouts. Yes, he's got to do physical activity thing, and so I'll probably be joining him for that, or at least pushing him along the way to get those things done. And so yeah, we'll be doing some more activity, more exercises and things like that for the next few weeks. But yeah, that pleasure trap, you know, and if you don't know what the pleasure trap is, I guess I should talk about it a little bit, but it's the hidden force that undermines our health and happiness, right? Isn't that what they say in the pleasure trap book? I believe that's what it is. The hidden force that undermines your health and happiness. But really what it is it's it's based off of the motivational triad, which I've talked about. But all creatures try to seek pleasure, we try to avoid pain, and we try to conserve energy. And these pleasure trap foods are foods that allow us to have a high pleasure response, a high dopamine response. So we get the pleasure from them. The avoidance of pain, I would say, it would be the easier they make it, the effort you have to put forth to get it, whether it's the effort you have to do to earn the money to buy it, or the effort you have to put forth to go travel to this place. And you want to do as little as that as possible, so you're avoiding the pain of working too hard, things like that, I guess. But then the big part is the conservation of energy. And that's where they just nail us, is the ability for us to drive to a gas station, drive to a fast food restaurant, drive to even a grocery store, and just fill up our carts or fill up our bodies with just easy, high dopamine calories. And Gene here says dopamine banging on our brains. Yes, that dopamine, just trying to get it. And and the pleasure trap is the food, the system, the system of food that we have in front of us is a pleasure trap. Any foods that are processed have some level of pleasure trap built into them. And so we're trying to get that out of. Jay's asking, what foods am I struggling with? He was falling back into the flour trap, making gravy for mashed potatoes and rice flour pancakes. You need to throw away the bag of rice flour. It's food addiction. Jay gained weight. Yes. I'm the convenience foods, and some of it is the foods my kids have around. I've never really been a hummus guy. Like before this diet, I didn't even give it a shot. Like hummus, what is that awfulness? Give me some real cheese dip or something. So I never really had hummus before, but I've had hummus the last couple days with pretzels, like these pretzel bite things that my kids have. It's just convenient. It's there. They're eating it. Yeah, that's really mostly kind of the stuff that they have around, salty stuff. The sodas, there's a root beer that I drank, and then there's a drink called Squirt. I don't know if you've heard of Squirt or not, but there's not like a lot of ingredients in it. That I've had that a couple times. And just just quick, easy foods. That's what I'm having problems with, is the easy things I can just grab. Yeah, Matt, the salt. What literally kills is the salt, a great killer. I think that the salt has caused me to gain a ton of weight. I think that that's a huge part of my weight gain. And I think I've been craving the fat in it, like the fat in the like the chips. I've had potato chips and stuff like that. Yeah, Jay says the flour trap, pretzels, etc. Yeah, the pretzels. Again, when I had 4 pretzels and that was all I ate for half the day, it didn't make a difference. But when I'm eating a full breakfast and a full dinner, and then I'm still eating the pretzels, that's the problem. I need to cut them out. And I know I'm going to feel amazing 3 days, 4 days after I cut them out. It's just been getting over that mental barrier to do it. I think that I've lost 270 pounds, and it hasn't settled in. You know, I haven't like realized it yet, but I feel amazing. And so that's the, like, when you're 520 pounds and you feel like shit, it's easy to say, hey, let's cut this stuff out. Let's get rid of the processed foods. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the dairy. Let's get rid of the milk. Let's get rid of the meat. You know, all the stuff I got rid of. Super easy to get rid of at 520 pounds with your heart rate spiking to 140 beats a minute. Anytime you get up to do anything, with suffering from sleep apnea, extreme swelling, sores developing on your calves, it's super easy to say, hey, let's do something to fix this and to do it and to keep it, you know. But now I'm 250 pounds and I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, so, you know, what were the real bad things? You know, and I feel like I've stayed away from the real bad things still. But there's still somewhat bad things that I'm letting into my diet that I need to get out. Jay says I could eat pasta and tomato sauce 3 times a day. I was eating brown rice noodles and tomato sauce and losing weight. So it's possible to do that, but it wouldn't be as easy. I was 400 pounds at the time. You know, when I was 375 pounds, I could get away with the brown rice noodles and the marinara sauce. I don't know if I get away with that now. Matt here says you're thoroughly resolved again. That's awesome. Matt made real food all day. That's awesome. Damn the food poisoning and full speed ahead. No, that's awesome. Eating real food, getting back, being resolved. You know, I talked to Carrie. I talked about Carrie kind of coming out of this week with the opposite kind of experience with me, where her resolve was way up, whereas mine was way down. And I need to get mine back up, but it's tough because I feel great. And even with eating those junk foods and having some extra pounds on me, I don't feel bad. You know, I can still, yeah, it's tough. It's a tough thing. It's a tough place to be because I'm so far in, and I can see where if I didn't have this kind of continual goal to keep going, you know, like I'm still, 84 days away from the 3 years. You know, had I not set that 3-year challenge up, that's going to turn into my 4 to my 5 to my 10 to my 15-year challenge, to keep the weight off. Had I not set that time goal, I don't know, maybe I let off the gas a lot sooner. And so that's, I think, a very important part of this is that I didn't say I just want to get down to 400 pounds. I just want to get under 300 pounds. I just want to get to 220 pounds. I didn't just say I wanted to do that. I said I wanted to do this for 3 years. I wanted to focus on my health and well-being and make it something that I don't not only lose the weight, but I keep the weight off. And in order to do that, I have to do the time. And here Jay says that they skipped breakfast. They lost more weight with intermittent fasting. Carrie says she could probably do dinner, skipping dinner, but she really loves breakfast. Yeah, I really like our breakfast too. Like the best parts of my day are the routine parts, the breakfast and the lunch, the things that are kind of already set and determined, those are really the best parts of my day and my diet. I mean, I do enjoy, what was the name of last night's dinner, by the way, Carrie? I enjoy the dinners, but the routineness of my breakfast and lunch is really been a staple in my diet, a staple of my diet, or a stable part of my diet. And so, yeah. Jay here says we all have slips. Food addiction lurks everywhere. We can only arrest it. It occasionally creeps back. Yeah. It's, yeah, it's just getting back into it and being compliant and not letting the convenience convince me that it's better. Like that's something that has been tough. So Carrie here says that she's been using less soy milk in our oatmeal to make it a bit healthier, and it is so good. Yes, I love our oatmeal, and I will keep eating our oatmeal. Last night was eggplant stew. That's what it was. It was awesome. It was eggplant stew that we put on brown rice. Carrie said it is on our Pinterest board, so you guys can check that out. Gosh, I don't really have much else today. I just wanted to get on and go live. I didn't go live yesterday, so I felt like I needed to update, let you guys know where I'm at. I am kind of comfortably caught in the pleasure trap right now, or uncomfortable, I don't know. And I'm working my way out. So I'm going to work really hard for the next 2 weeks here to get the sodium, the salt out of my diet. I think that if I get the salt out of my diet, the other stuff is going to the other stuff's easier for me to get out of, or to get out of my diet. But the salt, I think, leads to the overeating. It leads to the inflammation. And it's usually on food that I shouldn't be eating anyways. So Gene says, go to bed on time. Yes, I need to go to bed on time, or better at going to bed on time. And maybe I'll get my face shaved in the next day or two. So, maybe I'll shave my face when I'm feeling right again. Maybe that's what we'll see. But I should get out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for all of the support, all of the kind words, all of the advice. I am, I'm frustrated with my diet right now, but I know that it is just a moment in time. And to get to my goal, I have to be whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar free. And I've learned that over the past 2.5 years that I've been doing this. And so I need to get back to being salt, oil, sugar free so I can reach my goal. And that's what I'm going to do. Let's see here. I think that's about it for today. I want to thank you guys so much again. If you have not subscribed to my channel, get subscribed to the channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when you go live. When I go live, you don't go live. Get alerted when I go live or post new videos. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on this video. Maybe there's somebody else out there that's struggling with the pleasure trap, and maybe I said something that helped. Maybe I didn't. I probably didn't say anything that helped today, but just like Gene here says, that, hang in there. You're not alone. I'm not alone. If you're watching this and you keep getting sucked into the pleasure trap, you're not alone. I've been doing this for 1,000 days and I still deal with this. It's never going to be gone. You have to learn how to deal with it, and that's what I'm doing now. And see, yeah, so you're not alone. So, and if you have not started your diet yet, Get started right now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health or your overall well-being. There's nobody that reaches their goals, looks back, and wishes they would have waited. So get started right now, guys. Thanks so much. I will talk to you tomorrow. There's the right button. There we go.